Okay, this is the second part of the question. It says calculate the number of mole present in A, 3.5 gram of sodium hydroxide, and B, it says 200 centimeter cube of A, 0.1 molar of tetraoxosulfate 6 solution. Then C, it says 5 dm cube of a 0.02 mole per dm cube of hydrochloric solution. So the first thing that we go for A, right? That's the A part. So our A, which says that we should find for this. Now, if you look at the A part, our mass is given already. Mass is 3.5 gram, right? Now the molar mass of this particular compound, it is going to be equal to, we have sodium 23 plus we have our oxygen, which is 16 plus 1. Now if you add this one properly, it is going to give you 40 gram or grams per moles, right? Now the question says we should calculate the number of moles. We will now say using N is equal to mass all over molar mass, right? Now at this where we see this N, it is a number of moles. Our mass given is 3.5 all over, what is our molar mass? Our molar mass is what? Is 40, and this is in gram, this is in grams per mole. Now this gram will go with this, and if you calculate it well, you are going to obtain 0.0875, which is going to be in what? In moles. So I think we are done with that one. Then the B part, let's come to the B part. What did the B part say? It said we should we are going to calculate it also for 200 centimeter cube of a 0.1 molar of tetraoxosulfate 6. Now look at the B part very well. You see this one, which is in centimeter cube, that stands for the volume. 0.1, it stands for the concentration. Now there is a formula for it. This is the formula. It says that the number of moles is equal to the concentration, right, times the volume. Now this volume, if it is in centimeter cube, it will be all over 1000. Let me make it very clear. But if the question, from the question, if you see the question is in dm cube, then you are not going to use it. Now let me say, concentration, it will be times volume. This V, I say volume, right, in dm cube. Now if it is in dm cube, that is from the question, if the question is in dm cube, there is no need for you to divide by 1000. But if it is in centimeter cube, you have to divide it by what? By 1000. That is the formula given to it for it. Now here our N will be equal to, what is our concentration? As I told you, where you see the 0.1 m, this capital M here, it stands for molar, or for mole per dm cube. Now we will now say our concentration, or let me put as data, our concentration is equal to 0.1 mole, and our volume, which is in centimeter, it is equal to 200 centimeter cube, right? Now our N is not given, and which is what we are looking for. So our N now will be equal to, we are substituting it back to into our formula. Our concentration is what? 0.1 times 200 divided by 1000. Now if you make the calculation, So as I said, now what you're going to do now is the next thing that you're going to do here, when you multiply this, what you're going to obtain, you press your calculator very well, you're going to obtain 0.02, and now it is still going to be in moles. And you know why we are using moles? Because we are calculating the number of moles. Now that is it for this. We are not using this formula because the question, it is in what? In centimeter. That is, our volume is in centimeter cube here. Now let's check the next question, which is the C part. Now the C part, it says that, let me go back to it. The C part says that 5 dm cube of 0.02 in moles per dm cube of this. Now what we're going to do is we will now say volume. The volume is in what? In dm cube. That's what is given, right? And what do we have here? It is 5, which is 5 dm cube. Let me cancel this so that some people will not be confused. Then the next thing that we are going to look at is what is the concentration. Our concentration, it is equal to, go back to the question, let's check and see what we have there from the question. From the question, our concentration is 0.02, which is in moles per dm cube. Now because of that, now what are we looking for? They said the number of moles is what we're looking for, and we don't know it. Now using what we're going to use here, it is number of moles will now be equal to concentration times our volume, which is in dm cube. Now why are we using dm cube here? Because the question gives us, from here the volume is already in dm cube. Now we don't need to divide it, right? I told you from our B part, we don't need to divide it by 1000 when it is in dm cube. Here our number of moles now, it is now going to be equal to, what is our concentration? Our concentration is 0.02 times 5. Now 0.02 times 5, here our number of moles will be equal to 0.1, which is in moles. You see, we are done with this particular question.